Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Break at the Apex podcast. BT, there's someone missing. Can you tell me who it is? I think he's a very big Ferrari fan like me and you are.
Oh no, it's Christian Warner Jr. He ran away.
Oh, sorry, I meant Red Bull.
He ran away. Yeah. Graham, I even forgot his name. Just forget it. Graham is not joining us this evening. Through personal reasons. He did run away with our money. And our bank account as well. We are looking for him. So please contact us on our Instagram page. If you have seen where Grammy is, we are looking for him. We need our money back. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going tomorrow morning. First thing, we're posting a missing in action post with a beautiful selfie of Graham. So if you guys, even if you guys see him, let us know for the 5 people that watch us.
Yes, of course. And please help us, guys. We are poor. It's that time of the month. Yeah, no money. I have no pay for my car, so we are struggling at the moment. Yeah, let's get on with it.
Preach it, brother. Preach it. Okay, so BT, I actually want to start off tonight because I've got something interesting that I want to quickly talk to you about before we get into the heavy heated stuff. Cool. So obviously this weekend was the sixth round, if I'm not mistaken, fifth or sixth, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So by the first race of the season at Bahrain, Max won with 13 seconds. Then as we went to round 2 and round 3, it came down a bit. Then in Miami, he won again with 13 seconds. Oh, well, Norris won with 13 seconds. So he basically did the reverse to Max at the first round. And now Max only won by 0.7 of a second. What is your opinion on, do you really think Red Bull are going to dominate this season like they did last season?
No, I don't think they will. It does look like they have reached the ceiling in terms of upgrading that car. So I think what we're getting now is probably the car we're going to get from them for the rest of the season. But the scary thing for them is that the other teams are actually upgrading.
Yes.
Other teams are getting better in terms of optimizing their cars. And an example of that is McLaren. So, no, they won't. I think this season, instead of one race being won by Ferrari or one race being won by McLaren, you can really see that there's 2 races that Max hasn't won this season.
Yeah.
And we're only in the 5th round. So it's going to get serious. Oh, no, it's interesting in my opinion. I mean, it's going to be a difficult season for Max this year, actually, to win the championship quite easily, I think. And that's going to start in the later stages of the season.
Yes.
Monaco is coming this weekend. I mean, it is a boring track or whatever, but we'll see how that goes. Singapore for Ferrari. Like to see Ferrari's going to do well there. They have done that. They've done well there last year. Silverstone as well for McLaren and Ferrari. They both have done well there in the past. Sainz won his first race there. McLaren are not dominating, but performing very well this year. And they started to perform well in Silverstone last year as well.
Yes.
In a podium, I think. So, yeah. And the answer is no, it's not going to be dominant. It's not going to be easy for them. The teams are catching up to Red Bull. And the car is getting a bit faulty now. It's the second race where things are happening, and it's quite weird to see. But yeah, cool.
It is actually because we've grown in the last 2 seasons prior to this one. We've grown into this. We've gotten into this mindset of the Red Bull is just, it's impossible to get that car wrong. The setup, the reliability, that car's always on it like a car bonnet. And like you said, now for 2 weekends in a row, Max complained in Miami the car's balance wasn't right. The balance wasn't right in Imola. And I actually want to lead with this into the second topic I want to talk about. I know McLaren were the slightly quicker car this weekend, but you talked about the upgrades that McLaren brought. Did you see how many upgrades Ferrari brought? They were the team with the most amount of upgrades. And on pure race pace, without their mistakes, Carlos was matching Oscar and Leclerc was matching Norris. Ferrari aren't far away from this fight. McLaren are that slight bit ahead, but they are both nipping at Red Bull's heels. And for me personally, that puts up such a good stage for a banger for the rest of the season.
Okay, so before we move on, remember when Leclerc was catching Norris? Like,
Yes.
he was catching Norris, right? And he made that mistake. Are you telling me after that mistake, Leclerc couldn't get back into the chase again, or was just Norris too good to even, too fast to even catch at that point? Because when I was watching Norris chasing Verstappen, like Leclerc was like 5 seconds away. So in my mind, I was like, what happened to all that pace then? Or like, what happened? Did something go wrong in terms of Ferrari? Was he trying to save tires through like um the last few laps before the race ends? Or I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know.
I honestly think Leclerc just used up his tires because as soon as that last pit stop was done by Ferrari, Leclerc was on it like every single lap. They were saying lap after lap, Leclerc's the quickest on track. Leclerc's the quickest on track. He didn't post fastest lap times, but he was the quickest car on track. And I just think he used up his tires. That's my honest opinion. There's been no reports why his pace just all of a sudden dropped off. But if you ask me, I think his tires just they saw their best, and after they got dirty, they just didn't have the same grip in them that they had.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. No, I was just like, it was very interesting to see. So yeah, maybe he did use up his tires, and of course we got a very dramatic ending between Verstappen and Norris, and that was your bro. It was quite intense, to be honest. I wanted Norris to win, but I kind of knew that Verstappen will be able to keep a few laps together using that car. But hey, it's just I remember Grant saying that towards the end or towards the end of certain regulations, before the new regulation starts, it always happens. It
Yes.
always happens where the cars are getting much closer now, and you're gonna see like more dramatic races and stuff like that. But the most embarrassing thing is that we see two cars are getting closer to the Red Bulls. But what is Mercedes doing? They are nowhere. Like, did Mercedes bring any upgrades this past
They
weekend?
actually did. They brought three upgrades as far as my knowledge goes. They had a front wing, a rear wing, and a floor upgrade for this weekend.
I don't know what's happening there, bro. But I don't think Lewis Hamilton like cares because he was getting all the love from the Ferrari fans there. He was like
Yeah, that's
actually
true.
like signing caps, like waving to everyone. He's like ready to leave, dude. He doesn't
No,
cares anymore.
no, I'm completely with you. I think Lewis is just done with Mercedes not giving him what he needs and what he wants. But the other thing for me is, I don't know if you saw Fred Vasseurs' comments to the media. He was asked by a bunch of PR teams, like, does he think Mercedes made progress to get closer to them? And his answer was, they were only 28 seconds behind Leclerc. They must have made a bit of progress.
Yo, such shade, bro. And Fred Vasseur and Toto Wolff are kind of friends, eh? So
Yeah,
quite awkward. But that's shade. Like 28 seconds in Formula One is quite a lot, eh? It's a
not
pit
8
stop.
seconds,
It's a
28.
pit stop, bruh. It's a pit stop. Like
Uh-huh.
legit. A pit stop and you can still come out and you will still be leading the race, basically.
Yep.
Yeah,
The,
so that was quite interesting to see.
yeah. But to get back onto the topic before we move on to the next one,
Yeah.
besides the fact that we both wanted Norris to win, don't you think that fight would have been a bit more intense if Charles actually hung on to Norris and they were both chasing down Max? I think the
Yeah.
Ferrari got the pace. They honestly got the pace. I just honestly think Leclerc just absolutely battered those tires because if
Yeah.
you go check his onboard, his car looked like Norris's car when he was chasing Verstappen. When Leclerc was chasing down Lando, that's how he was. He was literally on the verge of losing it the whole time, dipping wheels into the gravel. He was literally on it, and I just think he overdrove the car.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, because the way that Norris just drove away from him from so many laps of Leclerc just chasing him down was quite um it was funny to me. I
Hmm.
wasn't even concentrating that much because I was watching it with my girlfriend, and she gets bored when we watch Formula One, so I had to still talk to her and try to focus on that. But after a while, I was like, "Oh, so what happened? So what happened to Leclerc chasing down Norris? Oh, okay, maybe his tires are gone, whatever. But if Leclerc and Norris chasing down Verstappen, yo, that was gonna be an epic finish, bro. That's gonna be. And to be honest, and I know Graham will watch this and actually listen to this. Yes, I do think Leclerc would actually get past Norris because I think Leclerc has that racing pedigree where
Yes.
he can overtake people in later stages. We've seen it in Las Vegas last year when he overtook Perez in the second last lap to actually grab second. So
Yes.
I think Leclerc would be able to get past Norris, and I don't know if you'd actually catch Verstappen. Maybe if four more laps were actually left after the normal rate of the laps of the actual race. But yeah, I think it would be fun though, interesting. Leclerc will be able to win his first race in a while, um,
Hmm.
which is quite sad. And on top of that, being off topic a bit, I'm enjoying the fact that Leclerc is dominating science this season. It's not even funny, bro. Science started hot, yes, science started hot, but Leclerc now is out qualifying him, and he's beating him in the races. So that's debatable, but yeah, yeah.
Look,
What
I, I understand your point. I don't agree with it 100%. I agree with it to a degree. Obviously, you know I've got a soft spot for Science, and yes, Science was the hotter starter of the two,
yeah,
but I think they leveled it out now. And I think it's literally going to be track dependent now because there's tracks where Leclerc is an absolute animal, and the one coming up this weekend, Monaco, is one of them. And then there's just tracks where Science, he just goes into another gear.
mm,
I think the battle between them, points wise, for the season is going to be close. But I'm just honestly excited to see what's going to happen because, like we said in previous podcasts, Science is driving for his future in F1, and he's making himself a very good advertisement. He's showing that he does have the talent he deserves to be in a top team,
yeah.
and Leclerc is just he's trying to establish dominance before Hamilton moves over. So they're both fighting for something that's very important to them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Leclerc is already speaking to Hamilton in pre-race walkthroughs or whatever that thing's called. So at least they're building a relationship, or they're starting to build a relationship and stuff like that.
Mm.
So that's quite cool to see. So it kind of shows that next year, I'm not saying it's not going to be dramatic, but it's not going to be too dramatic in terms of the drivers not knowing each other. Of course, they know each other, but in terms of now working as a team and stuff like that, they're building that small synergy in terms of talking to each other, having chats. I mean,
Yes.
before Hamilton signed to Ferrari, I don't think they were doing that more often. I don't think Hamilton was talking to Leclerc a lot. But ever since he's going to that team now, and Leclerc has been in that team for a long time, he's practically growing up in that team. And it's actually smart for Lewis Hamilton to start off that relationship with Leclerc just to, pick his brain, start a nice relationship with him as well. I won't be even surprised that they do go out for dinner sometime after race weekend just to get to know each other. It happens, dude.
Probably.
Happens. We don't know what these people do like after a race day. So maybe
Yes.
Fit, Vassar, Hamilton, and the clerk already started to go out for dinner. Talking about next year, how the plans are gonna be, how things are gonna go. Sadly for Science, he's not invited in that dinner. So invited in that dinner because he has been given the chop. So yeah, we will see next year though. But in terms of again, touching the Verstappen and Norris and the Leclerc finish, I think we are gonna get that this season,
Oh,
and
yes.
it will be like a very fast paced circuit though. Um,
I hope Silverstone.
would you say?
Silverstone or Spa, please.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah, like Spawn, like Spawn. I mean, like a Spawn, Austria maybe.
That's also not a bad shout because the McLaren will be fast there. Leclerc, that's one of Leclerc's power tracks, and Max always wants to win at the Red Bull Ring. So
Yeah.
it could happen for
So,
sure.
yeah. So maybe we're still gonna get that situation. But yeah, cool. That's all I have
Mm.
to say.
Okay, now another thing. I quickly just want to go on a bit of a tangent here because um, I actually talked to my best friend about this last night. And I don't know if you know BT, but before when the regulations changed from the V8 engines to these V6 hybrids we have now,
Mm.
there were rumors and talks within Formula One that each team would have three cars and three main drivers.
Oh yes, I
And
remember
now
that.
we
Yeah.
had a little bit of a taste this weekend of Norris versus Verstappen versus Leclerc. Just a quick, just imagine for a quick 15 seconds. Imagine if those three guys were in exactly the same team, and it was a situation like this.
Yo, dude. Yo.
That would
So
be money television.
that would be insane, man. That would
Yeah,
be
I did.
really insane. Like, yo, I can't even like describe how chaotic that ending would be though.
Mm,
Because they're on the same team, they're trying to overtake each other. They have three different engineers speaking to them.
uh-huh. From the
There's
same
three
football.
different strategy people talking to them. And the team principal is talking to all three of them, telling, look, we don't want the guys to crash.
Uh-huh.
Whatever you do, race, but we don't want you guys to crash. So I think that's why the three team situation, I think that's why they didn't go through with it because
Yes.
too much admin, bro. Because imagine just what you just said, imagine Verstappen, Norris, and Leclerc in the same car, same machine. Hey, not serious,
imagine
that's a
those three.
headache. That's
Imagine
a
those three
that's a
in a
headache.
Ferrari.
What did you say?
Imagine those three in a Ferrari or a Red Bull.
Well, bro, that's I think if we would watch Formula One with that situation going on, I don't think we would be able to breathe or even sit down. Because if you remember that season when Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton were going at it, bro.
Yes, yes. Nobody
Yo,
sat down
and
for a
on
single
the
race.
field like that, like they hate okay, not hated each other, they couldn't stand each other. They were so competitive. And the biggest race or the biggest crash they ever had was remember they crashed in the first lap of the Spanish Grand Prix when they actually took each other out. You remember
Yes.
that race?
Yeah, uh-huh. Very well. Max's first race win.
Yeah. So if you're gonna have that situation with three cars, three dominant cars, three okay, one world champion that's proven that he's one of the best, and two upcoming, I could say multiple world champion drivers. I'm not sure about Norris, maybe, but
Oh, he's going to hate you for that comment.
not sure. I think. Look, I pictured. Look, I before I go any further, I'm not saying Norris is not good people. I'm just saying I picture Norris having a Jensen Button type of career
Yes,
where
same.
you get that one awkward year that you win a championship, then nothing else happens again. Like,
Yes,
and I mean,
yes,
we're not saying he's not good. It's just I see his career going like that because it took him a while to even get his first win. So
yeah.
you're telling me, is he a guy that will be able to go back to back,
Mm,
winning
very
world
true.
championships, and with this car being dominant, but a competitor car being dominant as well. So going
Yeah.
against Verstappen, going against Leclerc, okay, maybe Hamilton and Alonso will walk into the sunset by that, but in those years maybe. But
Mm,
I think he's just one of those drivers that he gets it once, he moves on, which is the
yeah.
clear. Besides the mistakes, he has the potential to be a multiple world champion. But
The thing, the thing is about that. Remember, Charles is very, very young.
yeah,
Charles, so even though like people, because Charles has been in F1 now for what's it been 6 years, people see Charles as already this seasoned veteran, and yes, experience wise, he probably is. But Charles is still, with all due respect, he is older than me. But what I'm meaning is Charles is still a child. he's still got at least 10 years in him. And there's a lot that can happen in 10 years, especially with how loyal he is to Ferrari. And like we've spoken earlier this season with Hamilton, the experience, all the changes happening at Ferrari. I agree with you that I think Charles is definitely going to be a multiple world champion. It's a question of when, not if. And when it comes to Lando, where you see a Jenson Button type career, I see more of a Fernando Alonso type season. Like, I think he's going to be the person to like dethrone Max, like Alonso did to Schumacher. And he's going to have a good car for 2 or 3 seasons, maybe get 2 or 3 world championships, and then it's just not going to happen for him anymore. I think Norris is world championship worthy. I just think we all talk about, like, I can remember when Russell came to F1 as well, like Verstappen, Russell, Leclerc, those were your 3, the next Hamilton / Schumachers. And Norris he isn't on that, like, just that slight upper echelon that those 3 are on. And I think that's going to be the difference between 1 or 2 world titles and 4 to 7.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see that. But I think because he took so long to win his first race, and I'm not blaming him, but it's gonna take me a while to be like, nah, okay, cool. You showed me that, look, you can drive, he's fast. It's done now. This past weekend in Italy was fantastic. He is fast, of course, but we know he is the number 1 driver for McLaren. So
yes,
the best strategy will always favor him. Piastri wasn't doing that bad in this race.
Piastri was on fire.
But fire, dude. It was fire. What happened though? Like, I didn't get it. What happened? Because he qualified second. So what happened to you?
So Piastri got a 3-place grid penalty because in qualifying he impeded Magnussen of all people. But the thing is, now that you mention Oscar, you know, the first half of the race, he was leaps and bounds faster than Norris. Like, there was some stages where he was a second a lap faster.
Yes.
If he was in Lando's position, I think we would have had a second McLaren win, but it would have been the second car.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Because Oscar this weekend, and what's insane to me again, and remember what I said earlier this year, I think Piastri in the long run is going to be better than Norris. I think he's going to have a better career. Because for me, he is the latest generation of, like, your Hamilton, Schumacher, Verstappen, Leclerc. He's that level of good to me. And
thank you for that. Yeah, you too.
And the thing for me is Oscar Piastri, he's taking a little bit longer to adjust to the I want to say the intensity of F1. But as soon as he gets the full picture, Norris has got a problem to stay first driver in McLaren. And I think Piastri, with the right equipment, it's either him or Norris that's going to dethrone Max, in my opinion.
Piastri, I think number 1 thing he needs to work on, and it's been mentioned, is his tire management. He's not quite good with that. He does actually go through his tires very quickly. I think if he does that in terms of improving on keeping his tires alive, in a race or for longer periods, I think Norris is in trouble, to be honest with you. I think at some point they will kind of favor him in terms of winning races as well. Because last year you won a sprint race, bro. That gave you a glimpse of how good he is. He won a sprint race in his rookie season. So he has a bright future.
Oh no, totally agree. I totally agree with you. And the thing is, remember, that sprint race, he held back Verstappen.
Yeah.
He won from Max. Max couldn't get past him. And no, Piastri for me is a big prospect for the future. But now that we've ranted about McLaren and Ferrari and also a little bit of Red Bull, I actually want to jump back to a topic you mentioned earlier. Like, what is Mercedes doing? They had this hype going into the weekend. They've got 3 big upgrades on the car. They're going to be closer, 28 seconds behind Leclerc. Not Verstappen, Leclerc, who was 3rd.
What is Mercedes doing? What is Williams doing?
Oh my word.
What is Aston Martin doing?
All the Mercedes-powered cars besides McLaren had a horrible weekend.
Bruh, like those three teams. Okay, besides Mercedes, let me not be harsh. Besides Mercedes, Williams and Aston Martin had a blooper of a weekend this past
Yeah,
weekend. It was Alonso was not having a good time. I'm sure he couldn't wait to leave that place. Yes.
yeah, no. The one thing that I saw it on another information channel about F1. The reason the Astons weren't so fast this weekend is for some other reason that car doesn't like bumpy track surfaces.
Mm.
It struggled last year at Singapore where Sainz won. So a lot like the Red Bull, it doesn't like a bumpy track surface, so they have to raise the ride height so much that they lose a ton of downforce. Like they
Yes.
lose so much downforce, and that makes the car unstable. That's why Alonso likes a grippy car, and that's why
Yes.
he didn't shoot. But on the other end, besides Mercedes and Williams, because I honestly think Mercedes had a horrible weekend for what they said they were going to do and what they did, it's contrasting each other.
Yeah.
But Lance Stroll, I know I always go down on this guy, but he didn't have a good practice in qualifying, but his race pace was so good. Like
Mm.
those last 25 laps, his last stint, he was flying past cars, and I was just like, what did Stroll eat for breakfast? That pass on Yuki Tsunoda around the outside heading
Yes,
into
yes, I
turn.
saw that. Yeah. Yeah.
I was honestly like, for a car that looked that horrible after qualifying and him still getting ninth place,
Yeah.
that I have to give credit where credit is due. That was a brilliant race from Lance Stroll.
Yeah, I mean, not so. He's not consistent. Let's just face it. He
No, no,
will
no. That's
have You'll have races like that. Then you will have maybe three races where he's just playing around. I don't know what he's doing, but you will have like a random race where he will surprise you. And this weekend,
yes,
especially on the race, he did surprise us. Of course, he does have the potential, but that Aston Martin in those sorts of tracks is a tractor. To be honest with you, it's
yes,
and the thing is that they they're struggling with optimizing that car. I think they're struggling on they don't know what to do with that car in terms of make it faster or whatever, or
yes,
to even catch Mercedes. Because at the moment, I face it, they are behind Mercedes.
yes. No,
If
absolutely. They
you
are the
behind
fourth.
Mercedes, you in trouble, bro. Because
Yeah.
Mercedes is 28 seconds away from Ferrari, so you even further.
And I mean, I know Aston Martin downplayed this season compared to last season, but the fact of the matter stands: last season, this time, Alonso was banging podium after podium after
Bro,
podium, sometimes even challenging Max. I mean, can we remember Monaco last year? If it wasn't for their strategy slip up, Alonso could have won that race. And to go one season onwards, and yes, the other teams developed a bit more, but they shouldn't be this far behind.
yeah, I mean, you must also understand that last year Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes were not where they wanted to be last year.
Yes,
So that's why Aston Martin became the second team. And as
yes,
the year went, when the other three teams were improving, Aston Martin went back and back. Yes, they were still challenging for podiums. They were still getting podiums. And some podiums, trust me, they were not meant to get, but it was Alonso driving that car. So you kind
yes,
of knew you will do something special. But now you see now that, okay, Ferrari has caught up to date with their plan. McLaren
yes.
up to date with their plan. To be honest with you, if I'm looking at the most improved car, it is the McLaren.
Yes,
Because last year
absolutely.
the McLaren was so bad. It was, dude, I don't know what those people are doing in that factory, dude. I don't know what those people are doing. That car was so bad. And watching that car come from the back
Yep. They
with
literally finished Bahrain last season. They were third and second to last.
bro, and they won a race
Uh-huh.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Yeah, a week,
Yes.
2 weeks ago. And
2 weeks.
they won a race. So Aston Martin is struggling with that. They're struggling to do what McLaren has done. The surprising thing and the disappointing thing is that Mercedes is struggling. And are they struggling because they don't understand this car anymore? Or are they just pulling a rabbit out of the hat all the time? Or they're trying new things, they're trying things and hoping it would work? Or because I don't see them, I'm not seeing them planning and sitting down and trying to understand the car. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying, from my opinion, it looks like they're just trying nonsense. They try, okay,
Yes.
try that. Let's try this. And they're doing this in race weekends.
Yes. No,
They
that's
do
true.
this in race weekends, and I'm like, bruh, when it's race weekend, you're supposed to at least have your top two setups. So
Yes.
if this setup doesn't work, you go to your second one. Now it looks like you're coming to the race weekend and be like, oh, we're just gonna guess now. We're just gonna guess on a setup. We're gonna try this setup. Then if this one doesn't work, we're gonna try that one. And yeah, so it's quite sad what's happening there. I mean, it's always nice having Mercedes in the top three, the top four, but it's good because I love seeing Hamilton actually be miserable in that team, and for him to actually walk around saying he made the right decision. Because if
Yeah.
Mercedes was getting close to McLaren and this guy's going to Ferrari the next season, and you'll probably be thinking, did I make the right choice? So you see what's
Mm.
happening now is that Ferrari is faster now. So it's looking
But
like, yes,
oh,
yeah, so it's looking like, yes, we made the right choice. But lastly, I'm so sad Graham is not here because I think it's time for Liam Lawson to get inside that car. I'm tired of Danny Ricciardo. I am tired of that guy.
ooh.
I am tired of him. He doesn't deserve the seat anymore.
No,
Please
he
put him
doesn't.
away. It's done now. Yuki's having him for breakfast, dude. Every
Yeah.
single weekend. Every single weekend.
Yuki is doing to Ricardo what Verstappen has been doing to Perez since 2022.
Bruh, that's so unfair.
Yeah. No, 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 no.
I'm like,
I
are
completely
we
agree.
watching this? Are we watching this? This guy, he lost it, man. It's not there anymore. It's not there anymore.
Look, the thing for me is, and people keep going back to this, but just give me a second. Ricardo is a proven race winner, and yes, he's got pace on his day. The thing for me is, and it's not just Liam Lawson, there is multiple Formula 2 champions that can't race in F2 anymore because as soon as you win a championship, you're no longer allowed to race in Formula 2. And with this weekend with the F1, the Porsche Super Cup was going on as well, and you can watch that on the F1 TV app.
Yes, yes, I was watching that as well. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I watched the Porsche Super Cup races as well. And do you know how many F2 drivers that are like F1 ready have to go down categories because there's drivers in F1 that don't want that don't relinquish their seats and that are just there for the experience. And I mean, like you just mentioned, Liam Lawson is sitting in the garage. What is Red Bull and Visa Cash App, Red Bull Pep Special, whatever you call them? What are they doing? Liam proved last year that he is F1 ready. He's ready to learn. He's ready to get quicker and quicker. Why is he not in that car? And I thought last 2 weekends ago with Miami, with Ricardo's sprint race, I was like, oh, Danny Rick finally woke up. And then we got to Sunday and then, well, to the second quali session and then to Sunday. And I was just like, is Ricardo even in this race or did he pick an F2 car on purpose? He was nowhere in the main Grand Prix. And this weekend, Yuki was on fire this weekend. Qualifying through the race, the car didn't have the greatest race pace, but I mean, qualifying, and he got absolutely every tenth of a second out of that car in the Grand Prix, and he still scored points. What is Ricardo doing?
I don't know. The person who was supposed to be asking this question to is not here today, and I think he does the podcast because he knew that we were going to ask him this question today.
Uh-huh.
Because I was waiting for him. I was going to tell him, look, the discussion about Daniel Ricciardo being good, please leave that in your room or where you live because
Throw it in the bin.
it's done. He's cooked, bro. He's cooked, and he's lucky that Christian Warner is so unfair, dude.
Yeah,
He's so
agreed.
unfair. Like, how can you? I'm upset because it's the fifth race, and this
Mm-hmm.
guy has done well in a flippant sprint by fluke. Actually, don't even say he was there by fluke. It was by
Yes.
like poor luck, like pure luck. I'm not even saying that he actually worked to get to fourth. It was luck
Yeah.
because in the race we didn't see him. This past race we didn't see him. Yes, he was 11th at some point. But if you and Yuki are driving the same car, why are you not in the points?
Yes. Yuki qualified in the top 10. Yuki was like, did you see Q2? I think he was third at his stage. He was splitting the McLarens and the Ferraris. Then I was like, bruh, Yuki's on it. And then Q3, all the top teams turned up their cars a little bit more. And Yuki was still, I think he qualified eighth in that freaking donkey. And
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ricardo's just on the Italian beach, like, nah, Christian Horner likes me. I'm good.
Nah, I think you should go back being a PR agent, bro. Whatever he does for Red Bull, because no, Liam Lawson deserves to get into that car now.
No,
And
definitely.
and if 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 Red Bull doesn't want Carlos Sainz, please put Yuki in the car. Be fair, give him a
Yes.
chance. You gave
Yes.
Albon a chance. You gave Gasly a chance. So give Yuki a chance as well. Give him
No,
a
and
chance.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because after watching qualifying on Saturday, I spoke to my best friend. He's also very, very much in love with F1. And we're looking at Yuki's times and we're like, dude, like Perez, yes, he's in a Red Bull. The only reason he's in the top 10 is because of the car. We can see comparing him to Max, he's not there. Why is everybody going Ricardo? Put Yuki in that car. Give him a chance. Yuki has the last 2 seasons. Yuki has improved so much. He's still a bit hot headed and he still has his annual loses his crap behind the steering wheel and makes a stupid mistake. He still has that. But it's only his fourth year in F1. He's again just like Charles. He's so young. Give him a chance in the big team. I think Yuki will be a lot closer to Max than Perez. Honest opinion. I don't think he will beat Max, but he will be at least when the car's dominant and Max is winning, Yuki will be second.
Yeah, no, cool. You're actually right. So to finalize it, Yuki deserves a Red Bull seat.
Yes.
Or 2026, we know we know that Perez is hoping that he gets a new contract.
Yeah.
After this race, maybe that the percentage has gone down because he
It's
finished
like the stock
11th.
market just plummeted.
Yeah, he finished 11th, and yeah, there's not much to talk about there. We're not gonna talk about Haas. We're not gonna talk about those tractors, Alpine. I don't even think. Yeah, I don't give. Yeah, that word about them. But on the team, Sauber Kick or Steak, they had a normal weekend.
Yeah.
That their normal weekend. So there's not much to talk about there. But most
This
interesting
is
thing out of the weekend or out of this race is that McLaren is quite close to Red Bull.
yes.
It saddens me to say as a Ferrari supporter, but
Yep.
McLaren is number two. And I said this in the group. Red Bull's number one, McLaren's number two at the moment. You can say Ferrari's 2.5, but we'll say they are number three at the moment, sadly enough. And it will be circuit orientated, of course. So
No, no,
yeah,
no. I agree
yeah,
with you.
yeah,
I agree with
yeah.
you. Even me I mean, Schumacher's right there. Me as a very, very active Ferrari fan, even I have to admit, Red Bull's got the fastest car. McLaren are nipping at their heels, and Ferrari is third, but they are nipping on McLaren's heels. So it's a very close fight. And I think if Ferrari and McLaren keep upgrading this car, we are going to have the second half of the season, I think, is going to be insane. But before we end, there's just one quick thing I want to talk about that because we've been a little bit missing in action the past 2 weeks, or the past month, actually, because
Yeah.
all of our lives have just been insane. So apologies to the 5 viewers that we have. It's gone up from 3 to 5. Thank you for staying. So one thing that I just quickly want to talk about while we still have a bit of time left. James Vowell signing Alex Albon at Williams for the long term. What is your opinion on that?
Hey, bro. Okay, I get it. I get it.
Hmm.
I get it because Miles has this. He has this. How can I put this roadmap for that
Yeah.
team? You can see that he's working on the roadmap. He's working towards 2026 and beyond, and to get Williams back in the top four, the top five again. Okay, let's just say top six, right?
Yes.
We know Undercover is working to get Newey,
Yes.
and I'm sure he sold that idea to Albon. Like,
Yes,
look,
I think he did.
he's speaking to Newey. That's looking this type of way. I'm sure you'd want. I'm sure you wouldn't want to go Ferrari. It's too easy for him. I'm sure you
Yeah.
wouldn't want to go to Aston Martin. It's too easy to him. No, not too easy. Aston Martin. They don't have enough history in the sport. I'm sure he wants to come to us because we've
Yeah.
been at the back for so long. And the
Yeah.
last time we were competitive was during
2016, when they had that,
2016.
that
I was
absolute
gonna go way back now. I was gonna go way back in terms of Mansell and all those people. But anyway,
Okay.
2016, yes, got it. 2016. So if you are our number one driver, we want to sign you. This is your team. Um, just a joke. Sarge is not gonna be here anymore. Don't worry.
Is that really a joke, or is there a bit of truth in that?
um, we want you. We are determined that we're gonna get to where we want to be. We're working on Newey. Our package for 2026 is looking good. We're working on it. We want you. So Albon made the right decision, I think. But it depends now if he has a clause in that contract that he can leave anytime.
Very true.
If another team wants him, one of the big guys want him. Because there's a seat available in Red Bull, maybe. There's speculations that Verstappen might go. There's speculations that Perez might go. There's a seat at Mercedes. Mercedes is talking to Sainz about it. But Sainz
Yeah.
doesn't want the 1 year contract vibe. There's the new kid. What's his name? This Italian kid.
Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah, him. They wanna get him to Mercedes. But there's also rumors now that the kid might drive for Williams next season.
Yeah.
So
The thing is for me, quickly on this. Remember what I said in our preseason podcast? I said James Vowles should build this team around Albon because he's got, like you said, he's got a roadmap, he's got a plan, and that plan is already in action. I think to give Albon the trust of this is not just my team now, this is our team. You're the leading driver. You get to say yes and no to very important things. Let's build this back to the team that it once was. I also think it was a very smart move to sign Albon for the long term. Although, if I was in Alex's shoes, like you said, I would definitely be insistent on a clause in that contract because there's too much up in the air right now in the big team. And the thing for another thing also, like you said, Ferrari might be too easy, but everybody knows, and it's not to be mean, Hamilton doesn't have 10 more seasons. Hamilton's got 5 tops. Albon is still young. And Red Bull, Max has got very big dreams of driving in the World Endurance Championship at Le Mans. I don't think Perez is going to be there at the end of the season from next season. I think Perez is going to be out. You've got Mercedes as a prospect. If Kimi Antonelli goes to Williams first, and there's an open Mercedes seat, Alex would be a bit silly not to take it. The thing for me is though, when it comes to Kimi Antonelli, I feel Mercedes should do with Kimi Antonelli what McLaren did back in the day with Hamilton, because Antonelli is that good. He's not had the best start to the F2 season. Him and what's the guy, Ollie Behrman, that drove for Ferrari.
Yes.
They didn't have the best start to their F2 seasons. But if you look at those guys' raw pace in the F2 races, they are the guys to beat in F2 right now when it comes to outright pace and speed. If I were Mercedes, I would take Kimi Antonelli and try and do with him what McLaren did with Hamilton, because I think the kid's got he's got what it takes. But if Kimi Antonelli goes to Williams, if I was Alex Albon, I would be eyeing that Mercedes seat up and down, because I don't think Sainz is going to Mercedes. I think Sainz is going to stick with the whole Audi Sauber. I think there's too much potential there for him to shove it away. And he, like you said, he doesn't want just a 1 year every year contract deal. He wants just what Albon got now. He wants a team that supports him. So yeah. I honestly think, to get to the point, I think it was a very smart, but not necessarily a long-term plan for Albon to stay with Williams.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I also agree with you. It was a smart way of securing a seat for yourself.
It's smart choice.
Yeah, so, and you're starting for a team that wants you. Who doesn't like people that want them? People like being wanted. So he's doing that, and he's protecting his future in Formula One, because I know he wants to be in Formula One for a long time. He's still young. But that seat at Mercedes, I think Ocon is a dark horse to that seat.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We know what a big soft spot Toto has for Esteban.
Yes, so he's a dark horse. So I think Toto's keeping Ocon on the low, because he knows that he can get him. Because both of them don't have contracts for next year in Alpine.
Yeah, both Gasly and Ocon's contracts expire at the end of the year.
That's interesting. That's when you could actually see Ocon go to Mercedes.
That's true.
There is a chance.
I actually haven't thought about this now that you've mentioned it. That's a very big possibility, because also, I mean, not to be harsh on Ocon, but Gasly has been beating him very substantially so far. I think this is one of two weekends where Ocon was the better driver. But if you look at last season, where Gasly was new to the team, and this season already, when they're sniffing at points, it's Gasly, not Ocon.
Yeah.
So, and I think Alpine are starting to see, like, we might need to build this team around Gasly, because they know Ocon has got ties to Mercedes. I mean, if I was in charge of Alpine, that is how I would look at it.
Yeah, maybe you could look at it that way as well. But yeah, guys, that's the episode.
Yeah.
We had a fat chat. There was no structure, which I like, which is, it's nice when Graham is not here, because there's no very flowy. There's no structure. Graham likes keeping a structure to everything. This was a general conversation, but we talked about the race this past weekend, and we spoke about certain things that we have seen as well. Before we leave, your rating, sir, for the race.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me of that. So I actually, look, Imola is a track that I personally feel F1 cars are too fast for Imola. It makes the racing very, very hard. But this weekend honestly surprised me so much. There was so much overtaking, so much action. The first 30 to 35 laps was a bit of a snooze fest. But as soon, Leclerc catching Norris, then Norris Verstappen, the midfield going absolute ham on each other.
Yeah.
He enjoyed it. And for me, I would give Imola a solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this race.
Yeah, I'm on about that ballpark as well. 8 out of 10. Them going to the gravel was quite entertaining. It also gets to the point that you actually say the cars are fast. Too fast that put to the circuit, because they couldn't control those cars in the circuit. And most of them are going to the gravel. Even Verstappen went into the gravel in first practice 1, practice 2, I think, one of those times. So, yeah, 8 on my side as well. I'm glad it's back. There were floods last year there, so we didn't actually watch the race. The race was postponed. So I look forward to watching the race in the near future.
The thing is, Imola is absolutely drowned in prestige, because it's literally down the road from the Ferrari factory.
Oh,
And
yes.
like the commentators said throughout practice, Monza is special, but Imola has got its own unique specialities to it. And I mean, it's just fun to go racing there. I love every little bit of it, even though I feel the cars are a bit too fast. It's still a fun race weekend, even if the race is boring because it's Imola.
Yeah, no, spot on. I agree with you on that one.
So yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, the five of you who are watching, thank you so very much for watching. We've got, like I said, we've gone up from 3 to 5, so the numbers keep climbing. We'll get to 10 by the end of the year at least. And Betty, thank you. It's the first time that I've been hosting, and like you said, we had a fun conversation. There wasn't much structure, but I think we covered everything that we needed to cover.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Again, I'm the distogram. Stop with your structure. It's boring. Um, yeah, I had fun. It was interesting. I like that we spoke about Williams because that's a interesting topic at the moment in terms of having a young um, team principal and signing your first big driver or your
Yes.
potential um, number one driver in your team and trying to lure Adrian Newey as well. So all the best to Williams. I would like to see them the front pack at some point. I think they'll be
Yes.
easy. And Albon does have the potential to be a world champion. Yes, I said that. And we'll see you guys in the driver ratings episode.
Yes.
Me and Dirk will go head to head in terms of rating the drivers. And Ricardo, you're going. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
should
you're doing
not
it.
rate Ricardo anymore. We should stop rating Ricardo and just put bad there for the rest of the season.
Oh, ladies and gents, thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like on the podcast. Leave us a comment so that we can chat to you. And if you have not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below and don't forget to ding that bell. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Cheers.
Good.